Going on, everybody? How y'all doing today? Latasha, what's up?
Hello.
You're still in Florida?
I am.
I love it. How's the day
Yeah.
going so far?
Good. I did a batch recording session actually this morning. So that was good.
For YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
YouTube podcast.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess what we did last time, so the last workshop that we did was with Shan Boyer, and it was on like creating a course. And what she had people do in the beginning, which I thought was really cool, was like asking like where they were at in their journey with the course. Like, did they have an idea? Or are they already creating one? So that way, when we get to the questions, it kind of gave her a better idea. You think we should do that with like YouTube? Ask people like, do they already have a channel? What do they think? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to know from everyone who's here, like why you're here. Do you have a channel already? Are you looking to create one? Do you need to be convinced that you need to be on YouTube? Or are you like all in?
True. Cameron, Renz, Gladys, what up?
Hello, hello.
Hi everyone.
What?
You hear me?
Yes, sir. We cannot see you guys though.
Oh, I'll turn on my camera. Give me a sec.
There we go.
Yeah.
What up, bro?
Yeah, I can't really be on camera. You know me, D. I still
Come on,
work, so
Gladys. Come
busy
on,
here.
you got this.
No, because I'm working. That's why I always
Oh
work
yeah,
while
yeah.
I'm on
It's true.
meetings. Multitasking. I have no choice, right? That's what you do when you're not a full-time entrepreneur. I'm not like you guys yet, guys. We're still getting there.
We're getting there. So let us know, guys. Like, do you guys already have a YouTube channel? Thinking about creating one? Maybe Renz, you can go first because you're already kind of killing it on YouTube.
Yeah, so I have two YouTube channels actually. One for Affinity Photo, which is a photo editing software. It's basically Photoshop alternative where I teach the software. So it's tutorial based, educational. And then I've got another channel, which is basically my personal channel, in which I share fan life videos. So I live the fan life since 4 years. Yeah, that's basically it for regarding my YouTube. And the first one has got like 19K subs and the other one like 13 and a half or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How long have you been doing it?
I started the photo editing channel, I think, around COVID, so 2020, I think.
Yeah.
And the other one, I think, a year later, so 2021. But I
Nice.
haven't been super consistent, I have to admit. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's going okay.
I feel like that's good growth for a short period of time, relatively short period of time.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm very stoked about it. I mean, I know how powerful the platform is. So
Yeah, for sure.
Adolfo, what up, bro? We're basically before we get into it, just like kind of wondering like where everyone's at like with their YouTube journey. So, are you already on there? Are you posting on there, thinking about it? Like, where you at with everything?
Awesome. Well, first and foremost, nice to meet you all. Natasha, great having you here. My name is
Thanks for
Adolfo. I
being
live
here.
in Miami. Yeah, appreciate you. I just checked out your channel and I love it. So I work in sales, and my idea in the future is to get into affiliate work pretty much, since I'm already on commission base. So I might use I want to use YouTube for that purpose, like drive traffic and build my personal brand. I'll just be listening
Nice.
in for those things.
That's awesome. I love that.
Cameron, what about you, bro? Or Gladys?
Well, yeah, for me, hi guys again. I'm a cybersecurity career coach, so I help people get into cybersecurity. That's what I do in my business. And I'm pretty much here because all of my network is currently on LinkedIn. I have a big following on LinkedIn. However, I'm looking to grow to other channels like Instagram and YouTube. But my greatest fear is I am not good with camera. So not that I'm scared, but building that confidence for me is harder than anything. So I'm here to see if other people have other opinions on do you have to do what you don't like to do essentially to make that money? Do you have to be on YouTube, or can you build that confidence over time, or what are some of the things like essentially I don't want to do what I don't like to do, if that makes sense. So I want to be able to make money, but without doing what I don't have to. But it looks like I have to. So I'm open to what people think. That's all about me. Thank you.
That's great. Do you want me to respond to that, or are we going to finish intros? Because I have a lot of thoughts on that, Dee.
We can
Following.
finish the intros and
Yeah.
then get into it after that, because
Yeah.
otherwise, like you'll get into like a really good thought.
I've got a lot of thoughts. So nice to meet you, though, Gladys.
Yeah, I'll be here till the end. So I'll listen.
Awesome.
All right, well, I'll quit holding everybody up. Name's Cameron. Been on YouTube for, I think I first posted in November and just broke the 100 sub mark last week.
Nice.
I feel like I could have had much better growth, but I've been inconsistent. I've kind of been all over the place with what I'm posting. And I've come to learn since November that, if you're gonna, you got to more or less pick a path. And then if you want to choose a different path, then do a different channel. And so I feel like that's why mine's been all over the place, as far as, or not growing as well, because I haven't been consistent with the same material.
Nice. Can I ask what kinds of content? I know you said you're posting a lot of different kinds, but what's the goal with the YouTube channel? Or
Well, when I first started, it was before I even got on school, and I had gotten hurt at work, so I was put off work for like 6 weeks, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to do this thing. Like I was very camera shy, and I said I'm gonna go out of my comfort zone. I'm gonna do something that I didn't imagine myself ever doing before, and my idea was to kind of show the growth of YouTube, of my YouTube journey, and kind of like talk about what I learned and whatnot. And that was in the very beginning. And then all of a sudden, I started focusing on my health and fitness a lot. And I was like, well, I want to kind of like show that journey. So it became a combined journey of growing on YouTube plus health and fitness. And then I found school, and I found what I wanted to base my community off of. So I started posting about that. And then there was the fitness too. And it just it was like
Yeah.
everything. And it was just like, I record it and I would post it. And it was almost, because people kept saying, it doesn't matter, just post it, and you get better and this and that. So that's what I've just been recording, posting.
Yeah. Cool.
So a little context before we get into it, I guess like I probably, as like a lot of people, like years and years ago, like I found Latasha just like on YouTube, like just searching, like I don't even remember, it was probably like growing a YouTube channel or something, came across her content. And I forget like what was it, Instagram, where we got like more connected? It was
I
like
think
a couple
so.
years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we had just got connected like on Instagram, would talk here and there. And, we would get on like video calls every now and then, just like brainstorming ideas. And then, what was that, like 3 weeks ago or something like that? You were here in like,
Yeah.
we met up at Disney in person.
Yeah. For my birthday a month ago. So yeah.
So then I was telling her this was like when our community was still like, I mean, it still is only like 2 or 3 months old, but this was like when we were super new. And I said, hey, we're thinking of doing these like workshops. This was before we had done any. She's like, what is that? And I was telling her the idea. She was like, oh, I would be down to do one. So then as I've been asking people about YouTube, everyone was like, man, I would love to, tips on YouTube. So here we are. So if you want to give us, I guess, a little bit of backstory of like, who you are, how you got to where you are, like just a little bit of like your story.
Yeah. Sure. Well, I definitely resonate with what everybody's said so far, honestly. Like Cameron, I started by throwing stuff at the wall. I actually started my YouTube channel as a beauty and like fashion channel. That was just kind of what, I was interested at the time. This was like 2013. I was in college, and just hanging out. And so I really had no idea that you could build a whole business off YouTube. I was very ignorant about that. I was just having fun. And honestly, your story, Cameron, really resonated with me because I got foot surgery. And I was working retail at the time, so I was off work also for like many months. And so I was just binging YouTube, recording YouTubes, and yeah, that's how it started. And then from there, I started really studying, the science of YouTube, the business of YouTube, and got into marketing. I was going to school for film, so I did have that background and, started freelancing, doing freelance video projects. And over time, my YouTube channel has shifted into the business marketing, social media growth kind of space, over 10 years later. So that's kind of like what I've done in a nutshell, but I'm very passionate about YouTube just because number one, it's the most fun part of my job, truly. Like I love doing it. And number two, it's responsible for 90% of my course sales, my service-based leads. So I do done for you like video production and social media services. And then I have courses. And it's responsible, like that's the traffic that I don't do any paid ads. I don't do really any other type of lead gen. It's just YouTube for me. So it's huge, hugely powerful. And also, I think it was um, Renz mentioned the kind of tutorial space. Like that is so important because I have YouTube videos that are ranking that are like 7 years old, 8 years old for that type of like SEO content, as I'm sure you've seen, like for your editing service or platform. So that's been a huge piece with the affiliate marketing, all the things. So it's really powerful. I love talking about it. So let's
One
do
thing
that.
one thing I'm curious about, because I think this is something a lot of people struggle with, is like, how do I word? So like they'll see like your channel, right? And they see all the subscribers, and then they're like, oh, it's so easy. And so like they put up you tell them get on YouTube, they put up one video, two videos, they don't do well, and they're like, YouTube doesn't work. So like how long did it take you to grow, like to start seeing good growth in your channel? And
Yeah.
when you were going through those struggles or challenges, if there were any in the beginning, how did you push like through that?
When I tell you I was talking to no one for years, like I'm not joking. I always laugh because there's like the meme of the girls being like, "Hey guys," and it's like the guys is like nobody. Like that was me. Like, "Hey, maybe one guy." Um, I just had fun doing it, and that kind of speaks to what Gladys was talking about is I don't I don't think you should force yourself to do something you hate. I think you should give most anything in life a shot. Like give it a fair chance, see if you like it, don't give up after like one try. But if you just do not like creating videos, that just is not in you, there are so many different types of content to create. And I very strongly believe YouTube is one of those things that you have to love because it is very resource heavy. It's not like, oh, you just write something on your phone and then publish it, or even just like a short form video that you can record quickly on your phone. It is time consuming and I love it. Like I'm gonna edit videos tonight on the couch and I'm looking forward to it. Like I'm looking forward to it the way I look forward to binging Netflix. So I do think you do have to enjoy it. And I think that's why I didn't give up because I was just enjoying the process of it. And if you keep enjoying the process, improving over time, I truly believe the audience will grow. I also believe sometimes people ask me, like, well, you started so long ago, and so is it even possible to grow today? I actually think it's easier today because there is a larger audience that's watching YouTube today. Like,
Uh,
there was just some big study that came out or report, whatever, like at the end of last year that said YouTube outpaced streaming services for the first time. I mean, that's crazy. In 2013, that was not the case. It was still very
yeah.
much like a niche, weird internet. Like, what is Latasha doing? So yes, there's more competition now, but there's also a bigger audience. And more competition actually is a good thing because if somebody's doing a workout video and then Cameron's video gets recommended and then we get onto a school video and then Dee's video gets recommended, like that's how it works. So I actually think it's easier now in a lot of ways to grow.
So how long would you say like it kind of took you, like when you're doing beauty
Yeah.
and business, to like initial growth?
I remember I had been doing YouTube for like at least a year before I hit 100 subscribers. So I could tell you that. Yeah. That's why I was like, oh wow, like good for you for getting to 100.
That is
Yeah,
crazy.
it was long. And I was doing a weekly video too. I was consistent. I just wasn't
What,
very good.
at what point did you realize like, okay, like this is actually starting to work. Like I'm good at this. Like I'm actually getting subscribers. What was that like?
hmm I think for me, honestly, I think I went to my first beauty con. So, like Comic-Con, whatever. They have camp it was like a beauty event like that. I went to my first one maybe like 2 years after starting YouTube. And that was a huge moment for me because I actually met my first internet friends, my first YouTube like subscribers. And so it wasn't so much about the number, it wasn't so much about getting paid a huge amount. Although I will say at that point, at 2 years in, my YouTube money paid for my trip to New York to go to that BeautyCon event. Now, I flew Spirit, so I'm not, it was, I stayed in a cheap hotel. I'm not saying it was getting me rich, but it was motivation like, wow, like this actually turned into something tangible, that I can now reinvest back into this business, career path, whatever it was that I was doing at the time. And yeah, I met my first YouTube subscriber and friend. And I think that was like hugely powerful to me to make me realize like, wow, like this has real, potential for community and connection, and a little bit of money.
Dang, that's dope. Anyone else have any questions about like just like her story in general? We never did that last time, but I was thinking maybe you guys have questions just about like the background story before we get into like the Q&A.
It just sounds impressive to me that interesting that you were on YouTube for a year before getting 100 followers. Oh my God. I feel like it's more discouraging for us now. Like, when are we gonna make it, If I start now, when are we gonna make it?
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't mean it to be discouraging. I think it's important to be real, because I do think, like Dee said, we see these stories of people who like posted one video and then overnight they become this millionaire. It's like that for
Yeah.
99% of people. It's just like working out, right? Like you don't go to the gym once and then you've got a six pack. Like that's not how it works. It is a very slow, continuous grind. So yeah, and have fun with it. Like that's the thing. Like I mentioned, it I don't want to say it doesn't feel like work because obviously, we can get tired of anything. Just like working out. Like I don't love going to the gym every single time, but you can find exercises that you do enjoy that make you feel good. You can find video formats and content types that you're enjoying, and so it's like a fun process.
That's right. That's right. So I want to know, how often were you posting when you first started on YouTube?
I did once a week for probably several years. I posted once a week, every week. I did then do something really wild, which was I posted every single day for a month. And that probably came like year 3 or 4. There was this blogging challenge called Veda, and I did that multiple times, where I would post every single day. After I did that, I saw a lot of growth. Actually, like I was like, oh wow, even these videos are terrible quality. Like I reduced the quality quite a bit, to be able to post that much, but I was actually growing faster still. So I decided at that point that I would increase my uploads and just find that middle ground. And so for probably like, I don't know, year 5, year 4, year 5, I posted 3 times a week. And I think that's where I saw probably my biggest growth. Like that's probably around the time that Dee found me and I was like ranking everywhere on YouTube. I was posting 3 times a week on YouTube.
Oh
Now
wow.
I'm back to twice a week.
Okay, and so a quick question, like, how did you like manage to stay so consistent over the years?
Yeah, that's a good. So I think it's about putting it on your calendar, number one. Like just like any other practice, if it's working out, whatever, like put it on the calendar and just commit to it. I never ran out of ideas either. Like I've been doing YouTube since 2013 and now I'm finally like, all right, I don't know what to say. Like I'm kind of at the point where I'm like running out of ideas, but it took me that many years. in the beginning, it was like I couldn't keep up with my ideas. I had too many of them. So I'd always just write them down in my notes app. And, I kind of go through a process. I use Asana as my task management system. And so every Friday, I go through my notes from that week and just like kind of do a little research on them. If I had an interesting video idea, I'll use a keyword tool to see if it actually makes sense and is something that I should put into production. And then if it is, then I, plot it out in Asana and start kind of mapping it out. So that's my kind of idea process. And then, yeah, just getting it. Also, I would say make it as easy as possible. Make your setup as easy as possible. So, like, I'm traveling right now, but at my home studio, my camera stays in the same exact place. Like, I do not move my main, podcast camera just so it's like autopilot. I just turn it on and can go.
Yeah, I think that's a very good tip to have like a fixed studio. But the problem for me, at least personally, is because I'm living the van life, so I cannot have
Yep.
a fixed studio.
Yeah.
So I always have to set it up and like run around with my camera and like create office. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I live a beautiful life. So.
Yeah, I know that is hard. And what kind of gear do you use out of curiosity? Like, do you use like a big camera or do you record on your phone or?
Mostly on my phone, actually.
Nice.
I have a little DJI drone, like
Yep.
the Mini 3. I've got some Insta360 cameras as well, but I don't use them all too often. But I just bought like the Go 3 to just play around with some fun angles.
Nice.
That's it. Like some simple. I try to
Yep.
keep it simple as well.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like honestly, the iPhone cameras, smartphone cameras today are so good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, keep it simple, easy to break down and put together.
Yeah. No, I agree. Cool.
Ben, what's going on, bro? Are you with us? And anyone, any other questions? What's up, bro? Maybe he's multitasking as well. What? Anyone else want to go with the question? Adolfo, Cameron.
I want to
I
speak
have some,
to
but
okay. I was gonna say I want to speak to
go ahead.
Gladys's question too. I know I kind of already brought it up, like, but I think, I mean, maybe I kind of already answered it, but I'm curious what you think about it too, D. Like, I don't think you should force your, I don't think you should force yourself into doing something that you hate. I think there are so many different types of content nowadays. I do think you can still leverage YouTube though, Gladys, in a different way. What came to mind for you, I don't know what types of like services or offers you have, but let's just if you have like a course or a community or anything like that, I would
Basically,
learn
what she's doing in her free community is
yeah,
helping people in the cybersecurity field like get a job, right? It's like
yep,
oversaturated. It's like hard for them to find a job. So she like posts the jobs like for them. She'll do the work, post them, so it's really valuable, and then they can like network. The
yep,
paid is an offer where she's giving them training on how to like be prepared for the job, helping them with like the resume and actually getting the job. So it's
yep,
kind of like a done for you, done with you type of thing.
yeah. So yeah, I think there could be a lot of potential for creating content around that, but don't do it if you hate it. But there are so many creators out there making videos about cybersecurity jobs, work from home job, well, whatever, insert type of job here, careers in general. I would try to figure out some type of an affiliate thing to work with these big creators on YouTube who are already creating that content and maybe don't have a course, a service to offer of their own. They're living off of their YouTube AdSense or sponsorships or whatever and partner with them instead. So you can still leverage the power of YouTube without necessarily having to get on camera yourself.
So basically like let's say like for example Riverside, right? Like I mean I don't know if they create their own content, but they'll go out and say, hey, let's find people that are already doing podcasts or whatever. You can mention our thing in your videos and then kind of partner with them. So if you have a course or a service that aligns with other creators, you could basically do the same thing. Like, hey,
Yep.
this is a service I have. we're making money with this. We don't necessarily want to create the content. You have the content, you're not necessarily making money outside of like the AdSense. So how can we kind of like, I guess, like partner?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, but it's a little complicated for my industry just because in cybersecurity, well, it's not the way it looks like. A lot of the big creators out there, it's really hard to reach them. I've tried. It feels like they have reached the moon and no one can ever reach there. So it's just, they would even never respond to you and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I've just pulled myself away from the drama and I just want to do my own thing at this time.
Yeah.
But I get your point on I don't have to do something if I don't want to do it. And that's kind of where I'm leaning more towards. And I even thought about doing more of the loom tube style that people are now doing. Since I don't
Yeah.
like to be on camera, I can just do loom and just share my screen and show different things that I do.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a good idea too. But at the same time, I feel like um it will be a ton of, I mean, I know it's good to give value, but it will be almost getting to sharing what I do in my one-on-one coaching. That will be interesting to see how it goes. But yeah, I've thought about that part to not show myself on the screen, but instead use the screen kind of. But
Yeah,
yeah. Mhm.
for sure.
My question for you based on that would be, what are your thoughts on people that are afraid to create YouTube videos because they're like, well, like, why would people buy my stuff if I'm just giving them all this free information on there, especially if they're selling a course or, services like Lattice. I hear that all the time.
Yep. Okay, I have two answers. One is more just my personal feelings are that you can't give too much away for free. Believe me, I have over 800 public YouTube videos. If some seriously, I'm shocked that people still buy anything from me because I've said it all. I've said it all in, 5 times over. But people pay for convenience. People pay for no, like watching 800 YouTube videos or even just digging through and searching through them. That's
Yeah.
work. They want it curated for them, handed to them in a particular way. And that's just aside the additional value of community, having access to you, Gladys, like being able to speak to you, ask questions, that kind of thing. Even just the curation and, yeah, that curation is valuable in and of itself. The more like technical thing I would say is I kind of loosely try to follow this model where my YouTube content or my free content is more of that why content. So, what is social media marketing? What's a social media strategy? Why do you need a social media strategy? Why you should be on YouTube, right? That's like the free videos that I'm going to talk about, where I'm talking about here's what YouTube does for my business. And I'll give an aha moment, give a nugget away, but don't give the whole thing. Like, get them to the point of wanting to start their YouTube channel or getting their YouTube channel idea figured out. But now the how content comes in my courses, in my consulting. If you want, the hand holding of which camera should you buy? What's the setup you need? What are your keywords? All of like those step by steps that comes with the paid stuff. And again, that's not to say I never do any how-to content or like, I don't want it to be so strict like that where you're like gatekeeping everything. But in general, I try to make sure that I'm more like introducing concepts and giving a little nugget away as opposed to like giving an entire lecture, on every single topic.
I also heard that, like, how do I word it? It's like sometimes people aren't even ready to take the action yet, but what draws them to us is our thought process. So you saying, here's what I do, here is why I do this. And they go, oh, wow, I really like the way Latasha thinks. And it's like, well, now I want to go implement that thing. Some people are going to go try it on their own, but the people that become clients are the ones like, hey, I would like you to teach me how to do it. I look at it kind of like where you were saying to Renz, like, make it as easy as possible. One thing I do with that is I use Asana and I do this, and this. Like, none of us are going to be able to download Asana and do exactly what you did because I don't even know what that looks like, right? So I'd imagine something that's super valuable that people would pay for is like, in this video, I'm going to show you like what to do, like download it, click here, do this. But maybe that wouldn't be like a YouTube video. YouTube video would maybe be more like what you just told us before, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like more of the conceptual, like, yeah, I take my ideas, I put them in, and then, yeah, in the paid course or coaching, I'll give you the actual template for your Asana, or I'll help you, step by step set it up and set up those systems that are customized to you.
So maybe this is a bit of a vague question, but I'm going to ask it. You could just go with it where you feel like going. The question I see people asking a lot in these communities and different people I know is like, I want to get started with YouTube. I see the value in it. I want to get started with it, but I don't know like where to get started. Like there's so much, they feel like it's so overwhelming. Like there's so much I have to do. And so it's like, I start getting into it, but then it's like, there's such a high learning curve. I don't know like how to even like begin with this. So the question would be like, for someone that's watching this, that's like, okay, I want to get on YouTube. I haven't started yet. Like, what's an easy process of like, all right, just step by step, like do these things, or like a little roadmap they could follow, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think the really it's about coming up with your niche or your topic. I think that's the hard part is what do you really want to talk about? I don't think that you need to pigeonhole yourself into talking about one thing only, like, I don't know, email marketing only, or like being so hyper specific. But I should know by looking at your YouTube channel if you're a business channel or if you're a fashion channel or if you're you know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be so all over the place that my head is kind of spinning. So I think there's that, like figure out what you want to talk about. I like to create content pillars. So basically just buckets or categories of content. And I know Cameron, like you brought this up of you're kind of doing different things. I actually personally, I haven't looked at your channel, but honestly, I think those are all related in the field of like growth, self-development, personal development. Like that's kind of how I would categorize your channel just by hearing about it as kind of like a personal development channel, which I think is fine, and then your buckets of content or your pillars would be those individual topics you mentioned. Like maybe there's, you know, one week you do health stuff, the next week you give an update on your business or your YouTube growth, the next week, whatever the last thing you said was, like school and stuff like that. So,
How
as
did you
long as
come
they're
up with the word?
related. Me?
Yeah, how did you come up
Um,
with buckets?
yeah. So, okay, that's a great question, actually. And, okay, so in the beginning, obviously I didn't have this. Today, I have offers, I have actual things that I sell. And so I tie my pillars back to things that I sell. So, you know, freelancing, social media marketing, I have courses, coaching about those things. I do also tie in more lifestyle stuff into my videos. Like I also am passionate about health and like living a healthy life and a fulfilled life. And so I share my travels and food that I eat and things like that. And again, it does sort of tie in to this greater idea of why did I start a business? Like I didn't start a business to be unhealthy and be miserable and just stay at home all the time. It's all about this greater idea of self-development. So I kind of sneak those in where it makes sense to support that overall message, if that makes sense.
Okay. So first thing people should do is come up with some content buckets. You said 5? Or does the
I
number?
say I say no more than 3. You don't want to do more
Okay.
than 3 and confuse people. And you want to make sure, yeah, that they're cousins, that they're related. You're not talking about like fashion and then like tacos and then whatever, like, yeah, Disney World. I don't know. Like make them sort of related, and support each other. So come up with your content pillars. And then I think just develop that system for filming and make it easy, your easiest minimum viable product. Like you do not need fancy lights. You do not need a fancy camera. In fact, I would say don't buy a fancy camera before, to start. Start with your iPhone, get a tripod for it. I think like audio is very important. People will forgive bad quality video. They will not forgive bad quality sound. So if you're going to invest in anything, invest in a microphone, you can get one super cheap, like a cheap lavalier mic or, you know, a little shotgun mic for your iPhone, really cheap online. So get that basic setup and then find a nice window that you could put your phone in front of and a decent background. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, just like no trash in the background, you know, like just decently okay. And then just start filming. Like get, you know, get that first one out there so you can start to improve. Again, it's like doing reps, right? You can't improve on your form if you've never even tried it. So,
Will they script that first or just go with it? That's something I know always people are like, yeah, but I got lost in the script thing and that took forever. And
I am pretty firm on no scripting. I mean, everybody has their own style. So if you really are efficient with it and you feel way more confident with scripting, do it. But I see it slow people down. I agree. Like I see people, even when I try to do it, I'll try to write scripts and then I'm like, wait, why haven't I made this video yet? Like it's like I've been sitting on this video for 3 weeks. One of my favorite things that I've ever done, it wasn't for YouTube, but it was for a course. I was in this mastermind and we were all like you know, just procrastinating on getting these courses out that we had been talking about for like months in this mastermind. And we're like, what if we just do a challenge and this weekend we just record our courses and we just talk to the camera and like, and we all did it. We all just set up, again, minimum viable product. I used like my webcam, like a Logitech Brio, and just talked to the camera. And then I kind of reverse engineered it where I created the slides and stuff based on my like lecture, basically. And so you could do the same thing for YouTube. Like editing is magic. So don't worry if you need a pause or like think, you know, just get it out of your head. And then you can always like add graphics and, you know, cards and slides and things like that to kind of make it more structured, I think. I think that's what people worry about with the script is they think they're just going to be rambling. And you probably will, but like you're going to edit it, you know, so you
yeah.
can make it make sense in editing.
Okay, so I like to break it down because I people always ask me so many questions that I'm like, I try to give them a very easy like format, right? So first come up with like the 3 buckets, record the dang video without needing all these fancy light equipment, just use your iPhone, maybe even get a microphone later, just record the first one with the phone as long as you're not somewhere windy. And the next thing people are gonna say, all right, Latasha, now I have to do the thumbnail, I have to do the editing. And they spend 5 months in Canva. Like, what is your suggestion for like thumbnails and editing?
Okay, well, editing I think is easier than ever before because I think most people have at least have a rudimentary understanding of it now, thanks to like TikTok and Instagram. So, you know, CapCut I know is free, I think, to edit. I use Final Cut Pro just because I've been using it for years. There are also so many tutorials on YouTube. So sit down with one, just choose an editor. They all do very similar things that everybody, that's another thing people procrastinate on is like, well, this creator uses Adobe, this creator, just like choose one. Just choose one and learn it. Watch a 1 hour YouTube tutorial on it. You will figure that part out. And keep it basic too. Like don't overdo it. Just cut out your, you know, mistakes, add some titles where it like really needs it. Again, just crawl before you walk here.
Real quick, Rin, what is the name of your YouTube editing channel? Because maybe for someone watching this, it's like, bro, just go to Rin's channel, watch his videos, and there you go.
It is not video editing, by the way. It is photo editing software.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
but for the thumbnail,
I do create my thumbnails in the software as well.
Okay, we're getting to that point next. So what's it called?
Affinity Photo is the software, and my channel is I am Renzi. So if you type in Affinity Photo, well, chances are that my videos will pop up, but I can send it in. I can send it in the chat. If that works. Cool.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right. So basically, pick for the editing. Just pick whatever, and then how crazy do they go? Like, is their first? Let's say Gladys, she gets to the point where she records the video. How crazy are we going? Because I remember like when Alex or Mosley, people first started watching his videos, everyone thinks they need like a whoosh and a zoom in and yellow caption every 2 seconds. And then they never have their video. So it's like, how much do they add when they're first starting off?
I mean, yeah, you don't want to like put people to sleep. So if it's like a very boring, just one angle video and there's not much going on, you probably, yeah, maybe add, like I said, a couple of titles just to call out main points and to help structure your video. Maybe add some B-roll. That's a little advanced, but like get some stock video or record some B-roll of whatever it is that you're talking about just to put it over top of your timeline. But honestly, like even for me still, a lot of my videos are okay, let me back up. I think it depends on what you're doing, actually. For me and my like talking head podcasts, which are very informative, very educational, a lot of them I do very minimal editing. It's like, again, cutting out the ums sometimes, the obnoxious ums, and maybe adding a title here or there. Because people are there to learn. And like, think about sitting in a college classroom. Like, we still do it because we know there's valuable information there, right? Even though it's boring and our like, it's not whooshing all over the place. Like, obviously, I want to be a little more exciting than a like a boring college lecture, but like people will sit through it if you're giving
Not
them value,
yeah.
right? For sure. Meanwhile, if you're really trying to do something very cinematic and like you're showing off van life and your travels and whatever, yeah, you're not just going to want to like sit in front of the van and like, show us around a little bit, show us around the area that you're in, that kind of thing. So it kind of depends. I think if you're doing more entertainment content, you do need to be a little do a little more editing to kind of stand out versus if you're teaching, you can again crawl and improve over time. Like make it fancier over time.
And then for the thumbnail,
Yeah.
how crazy should they go with that? Like, what's like obviously there's different niches, but
Hmm.
for me, what was helpful was when like people would say, "All right, bro, for your video, show a picture of you and show some text in a background." Like something I can do like almost every time. That's like very simple, and every time I don't
Yeah.
start. So maybe like let's say for people that are, I think most people that are watching this are probably doing like info stuff. They're selling courses.
Yep.
They have some type of business like that. What
Yep.
type of thumbnails work best for that?
So one thing that's really helped me, and I actually need to do this because I'm running out, but I used to do it quarterly, just like a photo shoot. I'd work with a brand photographer and just take professional photos of myself, have someone do that. High quality, very high resolution so that I can crop them, I can stretch them, I can, all of that without them losing, resolution. So that's something you can do, but you also don't have to work with a fancy brand photographer. You can do that yourself. You can, again, set up your iPhone with a self timer or use like a remote in front of a whatever, like a white wall so that you can cut your face out and put it in all different, backgrounds and do all the different faces and stuff. Get different, yeah, exactly. Do lots of different, looks so that you have stuff to pull from. So that's something that really helps a lot. I also will say for thumbnails, I always go back to I think this was like my 10th grade honors English class. My teacher she told us this about our titles for our research papers. She said they should be evocative and provocative. And so I use YouTube thumbnails and titles. You want to find that balance. One of them should be more evocative, meaning it's evoking, it's telling what the video is going to be about. Maybe it's, I don't know, like fly fishing tutorial. I don't know, like something random. Okay. Your thumbnail then should be a little bit more provocative, meaning it's a little more like taps into those
Maybe
emotions.
maybe give an example like that you've done like for your channel.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I would say maybe I did a vlog recently and I talked about breaking up with a manager. I fired a business manager. And so the title, I made it "We Broke Up." That is very provocative, right? That makes you
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to clickbait a little, but it was not dishonest. And then the title actually was more evocative, meaning that it just listed out what was in that video. It was like business changes, birthday trip, whatever. Like it just kind of gave a summary. You want them to work together. You don't want both of them to be like super one way or the
We broke
other.
up.
Yeah, and then like me crying in the thumbnail. You know, like that's not really, that's when it gets into clickbait and people are like, "Wait, that's not what you know, like now she's talking about
Yeah.
business? Like that's not what I clicked on." So you want them to work together. And that's how I think of my thumbnails, like use it as additional space. Use it almost as like an alternate title, you know, to kind of play off of your title. Don't just copy what's on your title and put it on your thumbnail.
So would you say just like, all right, for the people that are like the overthinkers, they take these pictures, right? They don't hire a fancy photographer yet because not ready for that. But let's say they do that on their iPhone. They have these pictures, put it in a Canva. Obviously, you can remove the background. Are they just putting a picture of themselves and some text? Do they need all these emojis and other images? Like, what's the like? All right, bro, just do this like for your first like 2 or 3 videos, and you're good.
Yeah. I think simple. I think nowadays, especially, again, it does vary by, you know, genre, if you will. So do a little research, see what seems to be working for other creators in your space. But overall, I think nowadays things are a lot more simple. Like back in the day, it was all about like the emoji and like the, you know, all kinds of weird stuff. Now it's just, it's a little more simple. So yeah, I think you can just do like a nice background for most and add some text. Yeah, I mean that's what I do for most of mine. My vlogs I do a little bit more, they're a little more messy, if you will. Like I'm taking snapshots of all the different things that are in that vlog. But if it's just an educational video, it's a little more simple.
What about in terms of, okay, they get the 3 buckets. They are like, all I need is my phone. I don't need to go crazy with the script. They record it. They edit it very simply. They take some photos, do the thumbnail,
Yep.
post it, and they're like, all right, crap. Like, how do I actually grow my audience now that I'm
Yeah.
these out? Do you just let YouTube do its thing and cross your fingers and just keep posting, or are there any proactive things that people do, or is it more just like make good videos and keep doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend using your resources. Like, if you have an audience anywhere, whether that's LinkedIn, email list, Instagram, sure, like let them know about it. But at the same time, I don't think you have to. I actually didn't tell anyone. None of my friends or family knew I had a YouTube channel for like 5 years. Like, no, so I did not use my Instagram audience, my friend, my Facebook, none of that. Like, it was completely done in secret. Again, and these were different times where I was like embarrassed, like, what am I doing? You know, people didn't understand it. So my audience truly grew from YouTube. I would say though, don't forget that YouTube in and of itself is a community. I think sometimes we think of it as like just a distribution, like just like a posting platform, I guess. But
Yeah.
be active and not spammy, obviously, but be active in other people's comments. Use your community tab. Like once you get a few followers, your community tab is basically like, you know, like a Twitter feed or whatever. Post on there. Be in other people's comments. I've made great friendships with like huge YouTubers who I never thought would even like acknowledge me or notice me just from being in their comments. Like that wasn't the goal. I was like, wow. But most YouTubers who do this full time, like we read all of our comments. We pay attention, you know, because that is where the community lies. So do that as well.
That's dope. Any questions from anyone? I can go all day, but any questions that you guys have so far?
Yeah, I just
So
wanted to.
another,
Go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say, like in the beginning, when did you fall in love with the whole process at once, or was it like you liked editing first, you liked the recording the video first, and if it was one or the other, like how did you come to like the other part? Because right now, like I love the editing part, like
Yeah.
that. I started with Clipchamp, and that I I recommend that for people who are just now starting, but you quickly outgrow that one. Um, got into CapCut, and I really enjoy that part. I like making the videos, but it's and the script thing, I messed up and went the script route, and I feel like I can talk real natural when I'm just talking off the head. But as soon as I go to a script, I mean, you might as well just take an AI chip in my head because it just comes out so robotic.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, great question. I love editing. Like I was just saying this earlier to somebody, like I went to studio and batch recorded some videos today and I was like, ugh, like I still kind of like dread that part of it a little bit. I love editing though. Like I said, I'm looking forward to editing them now tonight and tomorrow. So one thing that really helps me, I think it D, are you gonna say something? I feel like your hand, okay, I think you just froze in spot. I thought your hand was raised. Um, but yeah, so like I think what I've learned is I think it's important to know what your weaknesses or your not favorite things are. And for me, yeah, it is filming. And this probably sounds really dramatic, I know, but again, like I do this full time. So I take a day every month that is just dedicated to filming. And so I can have like a very, I have like a whole routine. Like there's like a certain way I get ready and like music I listen to and like I work out first and like there's just like certain things I do to kind of get myself in that headspace because I know it doesn't come so naturally to me. It's like a little uncomfortable still. So I think you'll learn that over time, like how to get yourself in the groove, if you will, of it. If you're the person who doesn't like editing, I think that problem is a little easier because you can outsource that. Once you grow, you can hand that off. And unfortunately, that's the thing I like can't. I've tried working with editors and I'm just like I love it and I have a certain way that I like to do it. So I slow myself down, I know, but you got to play to your strengths, I think.
Yeah, I do. I personally do not like editing, so I've
Yeah.
tried it and it wasn't fun for me. So I'm like, I don't know if it's because I'm into tech, but we have this thing, most people in tech, so if as soon as something becomes a repetition, if I do something two times, it's boring to me. So I just want to
Mm,
automate it. I just want something that's gonna be done automatically
yep.
all the time. So for me to sit and edit a video every time like that, I mean, I'm just bored. And
Yeah.
that's why I opted to get an editor if I want to do this. But at the
Yep.
same time, and that goes to my question where it's like, what is the best way to hire an editor and how do you know that it's a good one, like price wise and things like that? What do you look for?
Hmm. This I don't know that I can speak to so well because, like I said, I've never really successfully worked with an editor. I mean, I had an editor for maybe a year and she was great. Like, I'm trying to think of how I even found her. I think she messaged me, honestly. She was a viewer. That's how I've hired a lot of people is I think it's nice to find people who like know your brand and understand and like it and are passionate about it too. And so I think that's how we started working together. She was a viewer and she just said, "Hey, if you ever need help, like let me know." And she did a great job. Like I said, it's just I missed that aspect of it. Um, as far as pricing, I think, if you look at different like freelancing websites, they'll give you an average of kind of what the going rate is. Like I know Upwork has like a page that gives the kind of the average rates of different jobs on their platform that can be helpful. And just like asking around, I whenever I'm hiring for something, I always talk to at least a couple of different people, kind of like interview a couple different people just to, weigh out my options. And if one person is giving me a quote that's way high, like, I'm like, okay, maybe we need to come to the middle there.
So Lauren actually, she used to. What happened just there? Oh, so Lauren was working with one of our friends. They own like I think eight Dunkin' Donuts here in like Florida. So when I got
Nice.
to the point when I was like really heavy on YouTube and I needed an editor, I was wondering if some of those skills would go towards that. So she started finding people for me, found someone that was great for me, and then other people would ask us. And so I don't know how many editors she's hired or found before, but it Lauren, are you on here? Maybe she could kind of like go into like, what the questions she asked, like how to find the like all these people, because she's done that so many different times.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I was also working with Nathi right now. So but yeah, a lot of the skills I learned when hiring for Duncan also translated when I was looking for editors for D. Basically, I think it aligned more with our values as well, that we didn't want just someone who was skilled in editing, but someone like you, Latasha, that actually liked editing or wanted to pursue it more. Because what happens is if you're hiring and you don't ask maybe personal questions or deeper questions, like they're in school and they're about to graduate and they're just looking for something for 6 months, then I have to do the process all over in 6 months because this isn't what they want to do. Like they're in school to be a doctor or something like that, you know? So then I'm going to lose them. And so quality, I don't know if quality of life is the right word to say, but I didn't only ask editing questions. I asked questions about their desires, where they saw themselves 5 years from now, or what does growth look like for them, because I wanted them to stay with us long term. So yes, they needed to be skilled, but also like you can always teach a skill. Like Dee had a basic understanding of editing where if they were struggling with something, he was able to jump in and help them. But I can't teach character traits. Like I need you to be on time. I need you to be honest. I need you to be reliable. So those are also important to us. And those are things that I always, just brought in the conversation. I don't know if that helps or answers your question.
Let me see real quick. Maybe this will be helpful for people. I won't go spend too much time on it, but can you guys see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
So these are like the questions that Lauren talked about. So she'll ask like basically like explaining like this is the position we have, this is what we're looking for, this is the salary. So we would kind of approach them with what we were thinking. The way that we would pay is weekly, not hourly. The reason being is like we wanted the edits as quick as possible, but if they get faster and you pay them per hour, they get paid less. So they have no incentive to work fast. They're going to take as long as they want. So we were like, get better. Like we want you to get better, and you know that you're going to get paid. If it takes you 5 minutes and it's good, take 5 minutes, get paid, and enjoy the rest of your week. Have you ever had a position similar to this? Have you ever worked with a specific niche? This is kind of like what we were talking about. Are you into fitness or whatever? What country or time zone are you in? This was important. Like if we need to get on Zoom calls or what they're doing. Are you willing to work late nights, early mornings? So if they're like, oh, I'm in the Philippines, but they're only going to work on their time, then it's going to be hard for you to communicate. What software do you use? What computer do you have? Do you have reliable internet service? This was a kind of important one. Do you work for an agency? Because some people be like, yeah, then it's like, okay, they're like, you're not even going to work with that person. They're going to pass you on to like 10 other people. And we wanted like that one person. Do you own any other types of businesses? Kind of Lauren was talking about this. So is their focus going to be on getting your stuff done, or are they doing all these other side projects? So that's going to affect like the quality. What else do we have? Basically the rest is like kind of like what career and personal goals do you have like that this position would help you achieve. We realized that I think a lot of people when they're hiring, they only think about like what they want and not what the other person wants. So we would ask them, why do you want to do this? Sometimes people would say, man, I really want to be able to make enough money to not have to go work. That way I can go on like a vacation. Like I never get to go on a vacation. So now when you're working together, it's not just like, hey, get my edits done. It's like, hey, we want to be able to give you this money. That way you can do this, 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 and this. And so it's more like asking them, like Lauren said, like the personal questions. So anyone that's in the community, I put this inside of the free resources so that you guys can like see those.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Great. That's some good advice there. I really asked because the first time I approached someone about editing, it was the person just told me that they are doing, I think it was like $3 per the minute of editing, and I was immediately blown away. Like if you're charging $3 per minute, then how much is it gonna cost for a long form content? That's crazy. Like, well, but yeah, there's a lot of things out there. But thank you for the inputs. I'm taking notes.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Elijah,
It's a little muffly, maybe.
I'm sorry, I'm just
No,
driving.
you're
But
good. You're good.
We can
just
hear
can you dive deeper into affiliate marketing? Like just as an affiliate marketer, like what can I accomplish if I go balls against the wall with it, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, what can you accomplish? I think affiliate income has been a huge growth area actually in the past couple years for me. An affiliate for a client management system called HoneyBook, and I was one of their top 3 affiliates 2 years ago, and still am. And honestly, I was so shocked when they told me that because I do not intentionally give that link out. It is all through YouTube. So I think their affiliate program is great because they actually pay out well. I earn up to $300 a referral, just depending on, the plan that the people go with. So therefore, it's like easy for me to naturally recommend. It's easy for me to create more videos about because it actually, pays well. And so I think that's a big thing is like vet your affiliates, find the ones that do pay out well, have good terms, and that really naturally integrate within your content. And then, yeah, for me, it's all about SEO videos for them. Like part of it is the relationship building, of course, because, you want to be an authentic person that people trust in all of that stuff. But honestly, it's just about showing up, ranking for, like I've done lots of different HoneyBook videos. I do like a HoneyBook, how to book clients with HoneyBook for social media managers, HoneyBook for, and just like hit on as many of those audiences and search terms as you can. And I use TubeBuddy for my SEO tool for YouTube. And so, yeah, that's just kind of like a part of my yearly, like I make sure that I have several different HoneyBook videos that I plan out at the beginning of the year. And like that sort of guarantees my spot, if you will, of
What about
like
a
continuing that
vidIQ?
ranking.
What's your take on that? I use it as like I have the plugin, the Chrome extension, and that's all, and I
Yeah.
see the data and I love it. But
Yeah.
what's
I tried it before. Honestly, I have TubeBuddy because I had a lifetime, like I got an AppSumo lifetime deal for it. So that's why that one's my preference, but they're very, very similar tools. So I say use whatever one comes more naturally to you. But yeah, I just use TubeBuddy because I don't have to pay for it now.
okay? I'll take that.
Yeah.
One thing we haven't touched on that people might wonder, right? So we talked about like basically like how to create a video, right? You have the buckets, record it, send like all the things we talked about. I think one other thing people might ask is, all right, Latasha, like I created my first video doing what you just said. It's
Yep.
up. How often as a beginner should I post? Like, am I trying to do every day? Am I trying to do twice a week? Like for the average person, like what would you kind of suggest that's just starting maybe like a channel?
I would say as frequently as you can maintain quality. So that's going to be a different answer for everybody. If you're retired and you're doing this as like your retirement hobby, then post every day if you can. If you're, a student and you don't work and, maybe that's 3 times a week. If you're working full time or running a business full time, maybe that's once a week. It really depends, but you want to do it frequently but you don't want to decrease quality so much that you're just putting up garbage,
I guess like one thing people have asked is like, you post a video, so you post a video and then you post another one. Is like, does that kill like the progress of the other one? Like, I think sometimes people are worried about that. Like, I just posted one, it's doing well, but if I post another one, is YouTube gonna penalize me because like I'm posting?
So this is according to YouTube themselves, and I'm paraphrasing, so don't quote me, but every video is its own thing. Like YouTube's algorithm does not judge. Some people think, oh, my channel's really old. My channel's super old. I technically started my channel in like 2008 when I took my first film class in high school. So people are like, oh, it's old. So they're going to deprioritize it, or exactly what you just said. I uploaded a video yesterday and according to YouTube, none of that is true. Like they take every new video that you upload as its own thing and will rank it accordingly. So I do that. I used to have this weird like superstition about it too. I was like, I have every video of mine has to reach a certain view threshold before I upload a new one. I stopped doing that. I don't care. Like, and they all still average out in the end, to what they normally were. So I'd say don't let weird stuff like that stop you.
And I know you kind of touched on this in the beginning, but maybe one more time. How do you deal with like low views? So I feel like that's something like we all have, right? It's like you're putting in
Yeah.
the work, you're not seeing the progress, maybe you're not getting the subs, you're not getting the views. Like, how do you deal with that mentally to keep pushing long enough to like actually see the somewhat of a
Yeah.
or once you are posting and maybe you're like, okay, I have 200 and some thousand subs, why aren't all of my videos hitting 100K views? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely still deal with that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm such a loser. What's going on? One, learn from it. You know, try to figure out if there is something you can learn from it. Like maybe there's a topic that just didn't resonate with your audience, and you can decide. Like for me, there are still videos that I still put out that I know are going to tank because they're important for me to make personally. And that's okay. And so therefore, I have a different goal for those videos. Like I'm not expecting my whatever, like life lessons I learned in my 30s video to go viral like I would a how to grow on Instagram video. Like you have to set that, you know, in your brain, set that expectation so you don't get super disappointed when no one cares about your random words of wisdom. But it's still important for you to create. And so that there's that. And then, yeah, like learn from it, see if there's anything that maybe you did differently, if you're getting any feedback on it. But honestly, just also know that sometimes, like, not everything can be a hit. A good friend of mine once said that to me. Like, you think of your favorite artists, right? Like your favorite writers, your favorite musicians, like they have flops. They do. They have whatever actors have movies that just didn't hit and they could be the best actor in the world. And, you know, why would we be any different? So try to like get out of your head a little bit about it.
Dang, I like that. That's a good perspective to have. One idea I had, if you're good on time still, and if everyone is down, is if like one person, maybe two, wanted to like share their YouTube link if they're on there, and maybe like you could give like a few pointers on like what they're actually doing.
I can do a very quick, I'm late for a call, but I can do like one
Oh,
very
yeah.
quick, or if people want to drop them in the group, I would be happy to follow up too.
Let's do that. That might be easier unless someone already has like a quick like link they can share. Let's do that in the group. That'd be easy. That'd be good. So I'll
I
post
can
the
give better
replay.
advice too once
Yeah,
I
because you're
sit
not
with
rushed.
them and watch a couple.
So I'll post the replay in the group, and then if you guys want to follow up with the links to your YouTube channels, I'll put that in the description, and then you could give feedback. But I think also like everyone else can kind of give feedback too. So yeah, I appreciate you coming on here and doing this. How can people get in contact with you and also like work with you? Like it's like, man, I really want help with some of this stuff. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, well, you can get into contact with me in Undeterred because I'm, you know, a proud supporter of what you guys are doing. So message me on there. And yeah, latashajames.com, courses.latashajames.com. I have a free course actually all about vlogging if you're interested in that. I can drop the link to that. And then I have like some paid courses too that go deeper into YouTube, but if you're curious about vlogging, this is a fun one to kind of get you started.
Dope.
So, yeah.
Appreciate you. Was this valuable to you guys? Hope so. Let us know in the comments, or I guess nod your head. Yes.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Latasha. This was helpful.
Thank you. It's so great to meet you all. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. But does Natasha has a school group too, or she's just YouTube girl?
Not yet, but Dee might be convincing me, so stay tuned.
Yeah, we need that, man. We need because we take all the traffic from YouTube and then we get them in there as a funnel. Because one thing I realize is that you don't own the traffic on social media.
Yeah.
That's my whole point with my school community. I don't own anyone. YouTube can shut my account any day, anytime.
Yep.
But I got my school people, I got their emails, at least I can get back to them and say, hey guys, this happened. Let's kick it again, right? But
Yep.
if you lose on all your account on YouTube, you got nothing left. That's kind of my goal with
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
Yeah.
we'll
Yes,
let Latasha run to her call. Appreciate you doing this. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.